20 is for finding out what different kind of men are out there and which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to discard. It's not for picking up other people's clothes.
I'm the chooser. And I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single.
When an older woman tells a younger woman something that's absolutely destructive, as a bit of information or knowledge that the woman would be remiss to not take heed to, it lends itself to the idea that when a woman crosses a line in her life, she doesn't want better for the women coming behind her, because misery loves company. Now, somebody sent me a piece of content on IG, man, with Judge Lynn Toler. I know y'all know who she is, man, and the divorce court lawyer, man, and, you know, she has been known to say some pretty foul things. But there was a young woman in her court, and she told that young woman that in her 20s, she was wasting her time trying to be in a relationship because the 20s are meant for you to get as much loving as you can, to ride the carousel as long as you can, to intermingle with as many men as you can while you're figuring out what you like in a man, what you don't like in a man, what you like intimately, what you don't like intimately. Basically, what she said is waste your younger years spreading yourself as thin as possible. And the problem is not that she said that. The problem is women believe that's okay, because in their minds, no matter what they do in their younger years, they're still going to get a husband whenever they're ready for one.
20 is for options. 20 is for passion and knowledge and enjoyment. It is not for continuous compromise. It is not a time to say, this is the guy that I got to make it with because this is the guy that I have. And no matter what compromises, no matter what I don't like, no matter what he does, I have to put up with it because he's my man. 20 is for firing dudes when they don't act right. 20 is for figuring out what you like in certain men. 20 is for finding out what different kind of men are out there and which ones you want to keep and which ones you want to discard. It's not for picking up other people's clothes. It's not for sticking it out when you're not enjoying it anymore. 20 is an opportunity to move onward, upward, forward, get a large life. So even if a dude doesn't end up in it, you still enjoy it.
And also, Tracee Ellis Ross has said that she is happily single in her 50s. She was raised to focus on her marriage and wedding and all of that. And she says she didn't want to focus on that. She says she didn't have to wait to be chosen by a husband because she is the chooser. And she is choosing to be single. Happily single. Wild-bangally single.
Like many of us, was taught to grow up dreaming of my wedding, not of my life. And also waiting to be chosen. Well, here's the thing. I'm the chooser. And I can choose to get married if I want to, but in the meantime, I am choicefully single, happily, gloriously single. And I do wish there were more examples. So many people ask the question, have you ever thought about having children? My child gave my life meaning. I'm like, are you saying my life is not meaningful?
See, what this lends itself to is the truth of the matter in this society. Women believe that no matter what they do in their lives, they can always get a husband. And not just any husband, a husband they really want. Why? Because it happens over and over again. Matter of fact, look at this image. Now that's the power characters Tasha and Ghost. Now the Tasha character, Natara Houghton, recently got married. This is the wedding. Look at what she says in the post. Her real life hubby and TV hubby. Look at the amount of validation she's getting right here. She literally says, I know how to pick them. So in her humorous way, which is not really humorous, she's comparing a TV character to the man who just swore his life to her and his money to her. See, we're in an environment where women look at this and they just believe that no matter what they do, no matter what they go through, there's always going to be a man who's there. And not just any man, a man who is financially situated to put her in the place to win. Now, what you see is the reason that men like me and men like you have sworn off marriage and commitment. Because you're not going to find a woman who is worthy of that. You see, there are wife requirements. There are 10 unmet wife requirements that eliminate most American women. They're just eliminated from contention for being a man's wife. Unless you're a beta male simp mangina, but I'm talking about the most alpha men among us, the men who understand our own value. One thing you're not going to find a clean slate. And by clean slate, I mean, there's a couple of ways to look at that. You know, you're not going to find a virgin. You know, you're not going to find that in America. Okay, let's say we're not going to find that. Okay, you're not going to find a woman who has no previous marriages or no previous long-term failed relationship that left any psychological, emotional, or mental scars on her. You're not going to find that. It's rare that you're going to find a woman who has no children. If you find a woman like Tracee Ellis Ross, per se, who I don't think she has any children, but if you find a woman that age who has no children, you find a woman like Oprah who has no children, you got to understand, man, that there is a reason that a woman doesn't have any children like that. As a matter of fact, let's listen to Monique talk about how she regrets not buying into the concept of being a mother and wife. And she had a child and still did not buy into the concept of being a mother and wife. Let's check this out.
Time that when he was a little boy, I wasn't interested in being a mother. I was interested in being a star. And I was interested in being famous. And I wasn't interested in being a wife. I was interested in taking pictures and red carpets and signing autographs and traveling the world. So I didn't really put the focus in. And now that I'm 52 and he'll be 30, well, I pay for that. There's a price you have to pay for that. And I had to apologize to my son.
Now, when you see this, you have to understand that when a woman is focused on her career, she's focused on her career. And that's the one thing Judge Lynn Toler didn't tell this woman. She talked nothing about career. All she talked about was relationship and spreading yourself thin in relationships and finding yourself and what you like in a man and all of those things. But that works for a career woman because a career woman is totally preoccupied with building herself into that career. Like going to school full time, pushing into a professional career like that, it takes a lot of time, effort, and energy. And all the time, effort, energy it doesn't take, you need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to work, you need to rest, you need to pray, you need to do all of these things. So the reality of the scenario is that you're not going to find that woman. You're not going to find a woman who gives you shut upness and obedience. You're just not going to find that because we live in a society where a woman can say whatever she wants to say. She doesn't have to listen to you. She doesn't have to go along to get along with anything you're saying. There's nothing out here that's going to say that she has to. She doesn't have to be what you want her to be. She can be whatever she wants to be. And even if you don't want her, there's another man who will. So what's the purpose in men like us who deserve the very best settling for whatever the next man will accept? There's always a man out there that a woman can give less to and get more from. But we're not cut from that cloth. We're a group of men who are not going to acquiesce to what this society says and demands that we must do. Okay, no, things are different. If you want a good woman, you got to make some compromises and sacrifices. No, I'm not making no more compromises and sacrifices. You make compromises and sacrifices to put yourself in a position to win in this life. You don't do that for no woman. There ain't never enough benefit that's going to come from a relationship with a woman to get the same type of sacrifice and, the same type of sacrifice and compromises that you made on your way up when you were grinding up, putting yourself in the best position, becoming the most alpha version of yourself. That's way more rewarding than in a relationship. Hey, man, a relationship with 50 women is not going to be more rewarding and validating than that. There's no validation like the validation of achieving your goals. There's no validation like the validation of seeing something through to the end. Something that you know what the end result is going to be. Like you have an end goal that's set there. And you know you can get to that goal if you put in the work, if you put in the grind, if you put in the time. Relationships don't work like that. You can put in all the work, all the grind, all the time and still end up in a divorce. It's just nothing to think about. Gone are the days where a woman marries you and she don't even feel like she can get out of it. The thought of divorcing never crosses her mind. Now, at the very first sign of trouble, one with divorce. When somebody has a plan B, they're not going to go 100% all in on their plan A. It's impossible to do as a human being. If you have a solid plan B, your plan A is not going to be your only option. Plan A only works if it's your only option. That's the only way it works. Can you get a little bit of success out of your plan A? Yes. But here's the thing. If you got a plan B, then 9 times out of 10, you want your plan B to be your plan A in the first place. So we're not playing these games. We're not going to sit around here and act like, we have to just accept whatever a woman wants to give us, because we don't. We don't. Think about this. The same way Judge Lynn Toler just told this woman, hey, just go out there and have fun. Figure out what you want. You could be a single man and just be with that woman who's having fun, figuring out what she's want. And then there's another young woman over there who's just having fun, figuring out what she wants. And then there's 2 more over there just having fun, figuring out what they want. See, the problem isn't that we are not prepared to put a woman in a position. The problem is the women are not prepared to be in the position. When you got older women telling them things like this, and then you got an older women like Tracee Ellis Ross coming around saying, well, I just chose this. I'm fine with it. I chose it. This is what happens. When you choose that when you're young, you end up like Tracee Ellis Ross when you get older, or you end up as an older woman with a lesser man. Not lesser than you, but lesser than the man that you could have had. And this is just the way it goes. So I want you men to understand, man, y'all better stop listening to these guys telling y'all, man, that this whole marriage and relationship thing is something you could just run after and pursue. It is rare that you're going to find a woman who's worthy of that, because here's the problem. The women who are worthy of that are already married and locked down. The women who are worthy of that already have husbands. I'm not saying marriage doesn't work in this society. I'm saying all the ones that are going to work are already working. All the women who are worthy of that, man, are already taken. They're already taken. They're already taken. Because you don't want a woman with Judge Lynn Toler's mindset, and you don't want a young woman who follows a woman like that. You don't want a woman with Tracee Ellis Ross's mindset, and then Monique has a mindset, well, yeah, she's living with regret, but yeah, the damage is done. The time to have regret was back in the day when you could have done something about it. Now your son grown, ain't nothing you can do about it right now. And a guy asked me the other day, man, he said, yo, man, what you think about prenups? I don't think nothing about prenups. Only time you need a prenup, you're fool enough to get married in this particular society. Don't put yourself in a position to need a prenup. Those days are gone, man. Those days are gone. Y'all comment down below and let me know what you think about this topic, man. I look forward to hearing what you men have to say. I'm out.
Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Simps claiming that they pimps, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Suckers claiming to be players, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Tricks acting like they max, but they not though. Alphas up, betas down, it's the motto. Betas claiming to be alpha, but they not though.
Now, I'm not gonna tell you, man, that you shouldn't value your woman at all. A woman does have value, but you can't overvalue her